Hello and welcome back. It's time to bind the quilt today, and I usually like to hand sew the binding, as you get a really lovely finish. But do feel free, if you prefer machine binding, to go ahead and do that. Now what you'll need is thread, and I'm using this here in a colour that's sort of quite close to the backing fabric, a few clips and a hand sewing needle. And I usually start with adding a quilter's knot, so you have the needle in your left, the end of the thread like so, and the more times you wrap the thread around the needle, the thicker the knot gets. Because the thread's quite thin, I've done a few wraps, and then you don't move those three fingers on your left, and just pull through until you can feel the knot. So what I do to start with, I do like to pin a little section ahead of me, because then I can get into a nice rhythm with the hand quilting. And I'm sort of pulling down a little bit, and you want this to be quite even all the way down. I want to show you the corner, so I'm going to start quite close to it. You want to get a really nice crisp line on the front of the quilt. So I usually do a little bit of finger pressing. Just getting those covered. And then you want to meet both these edges here in the middle. And when I'm happy with it, I just pop a pin, I keep calling these pins, I don't know why. Pop a clip on there, and that'll keep it in place for when you reach that area. So I'm quilting going that way, but of course if you are left-handed, then you'll be going in the other direction. To start with, I just take the thread into the seam allowance, and just do a simple knot, and that'll be fine. So what I use is a ladder stitch. So what it means, basically, you're going up into the crease, and then you travel the needle inside the crease, you come out and you do another straight stitch, and then you travel along inside the sort of in the wadding really, and then you come up, you do another straight, so that it looks like this, like a ladder. And when I usually do a few stitches at a time, and then when you pull the thread, it's all closing up, and it's also a bit quicker. I used to do stitch by stitch, and then a lovely sewing friend from our charity quilting group from Project Linus showed me her way, and she was always doing a few stitches at a time, and yeah, amazingly quick and yet amazingly accurate. I hope you can see. Come up, and then I always try to hit literally the uppermost corner, and then you don't want to go across because that thread would show. So come down quite close here, make a little stitch, and then where you've come up, you want to go back into that crease. I'm making really quite small stitches. I think you could probably make them a bit larger. I often try, but then I sort of just revert back to these small stitches, and I don't know, it must just be the way my brain wants to do things. And then you come up, and you can move the clip along, back in there, back in the top of the crease. So you can see that the stitches are virtually invisible. When you run out of thread, just a note, just take it into the seam allowance with a couple of knots, and literally do what I did at the beginning, just to start a new thread. When your thread is still quite long and you're pulling it through, depending on the brand of thread that you're using, some tangle more than others. This one's quite good, but just pop your finger loosely on there and you're usually all right. So I've just done that little section. And it is so satisfying to have a really lovely finish on the quilt. It just frames the whole thing, I think. So personally, I do like to take my time over it, and it's very relaxing when, you know, you get into a nice rhythm with the stitching. It almost becomes meditative. And if you like, just put podcast on, have a cup of tea, and just switch off from the day. So when you get to the corner, so I've just come out of the top of the orange. Try and come up really close to that point. Oh, typical. Right. Okay. And then I catch, because you sort of want a right angle, I catch that little corner from underneath. And anchor it down. So you'll carry on that way and clip just to prepare the next few inches and make your way around. I'm trying to show you at a little different angle. I'm slightly contorting myself here. So yeah, that's that little corner done. This is how I hand quilt. I hope you found it helpful. And I'll see you again soon. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.